guys.
Hello. What's going on, fam?
Chilling, man.
Episode 19.
Episode 19.
Hold on, let me get my mic secured. This thing, like, I bring it up and it goes back down.
Yeah.
Bring it up, it goes back down.
And you gotta adjust it on the right side.
This is annoying, but I'll fix it later. Anyway, welcome everyone.
Welcome.
Episode 19 of the Terrible Reception Podcast. I am going to point something out that probably nobody would notice until I'm pointing it out just now. I am wearing the same gray shirt I was wearing last time we recorded.
I know.
Last time we recorded was 2 weeks ago. I washed this shirt, I promise.
Hey, it's kind of like nobody says anything when they watch The Simpsons.
True.
You know, it's like they wear the same outfits. Nobody's judging them.
You know what's funny? I always remember this one episode of The Simpsons when they show you a glimpse of, I think it was Bart Simpson's closet. And he literally has the same shirt, same pants, same shoes.
That's it.
So funny.
I wish life was that simple where you could just be like, all right, that's my outfit. You're going to accept it.
I know what I'm wearing today. I know what I'm wearing tomorrow.
It's funny because Jay showed up and I have to admit I was wearing the same gray shirt as well. For some reason it just happened. And I was like, we can't do this. So I switched out in the shirt, which it doesn't help because I switched out into the shirt I was wearing yesterday. But whatever, it works.
It is what it is. Nobody saw you yesterday,
no.
But now you just outed yourself.
Exactly.
You dirty.
Hey, if you want the truth, you're coming to this podcast.
But yeah, episode 19 of the Terrible Reception Podcast. Welcome everyone. Remember to, wow, that usually comes out a lot smoother. Remember to go to YouTube, subscribe, like, leave a comment, turn on that little bell notification, go to Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Make sure to leave a review and leave a rating. Because the more you interact with us, the more we shoot up the charts of the podcasts.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the heroin from like a couple episodes back.
We could do that too in celebration.
You know what? Episode 20 is coming around. It's time to shoot up.
Celebration and Spotify. Make sure to go Spotify podcast also. Follow us on there. Even if you don't use Spotify to listen to your podcast, just do it anyway.
No.
Make us look cool out there. Because we can't emphasize enough. We say it every episode. Numbers are everything people look at. So
by the time you guys are hearing this podcast, I hope you guys have been enjoying your summer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it's better, you know, when it's super hot out, because Jersey, we all know, it gets super, super humid at times. Fluctuation in temperatures. Sometimes you're lucky or better off to be indoors working at your job where they have central AC or something like that. Or you get accommodated or used to that air conditioning feel.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know where you're going with this.
I just want somebody to enjoy the summer.
Okay.
You'll see.
I'm saying that had to do with anything that we were just talking about.
What's my name, bitch? Segway Jesus. That's what it is.
That was a terrible Segway Jesus.
No, I'm not done yet, though. You didn't let me finish.
Go.
All right. So Segway Jesus.
Land the plane.
I'm landing the plane. Listen, jet plane. You got to check with Air Patrol, okay? I'm Air Patrol.
Air Control says you need to land this plane because there's other planes behind you trying to land.
Well, fuck them. They're going to have to circle. So check this out. I was going to say I hope everybody's enjoying their summer. I hope everything's going well. I hope everybody's working hard because I know we are. But we're headed out of the country.
Yes.
So I was thinking we could do something interesting where we can maybe do an overseas podcast.
No, I'm not doing that.
Oh my God.
I'm on vacation.
Yeah, me too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Fuck that. Great idea, but I want to enjoy my vacation.
I've been wanting this vacation for so long.
Yeah. I'm not, well, I have a gig while I'm on vacation, but outside of that, I'm not going to be working.
That's
at
good.
all.
That's good.
At all. Don't force me.
All right.
We'll record when we get back.
Definitely.
Or we'll record one right before we leave.
So if you guys don't peep, another podcast within the next 3 weeks, that's the reason why.
It'll be. If we record one next week, we'll have one released before we leave.
Something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, so we released the promo video for last week's episode about the trypophobia thing.
Yes.
And got a lot of responses. A lot of people thought they were by themselves with that feeling.
No, that's how I felt for so many years. And then I was like, you know what? There's a lot of people out here.
Look at us bringing awareness to a thing that's crippling our youth these days.
Crippling. The new epidemic.
Trypophobia.
It's crazy.
But yeah, man, a lot of people commented saying that they thought that was just them reacting, and they thought that they were weird and all this stuff. So we built a little community of like 10 people that were like, no, that video almost made me throw up.
It's like people coming to an AA meeting.
Basically.
That's amazing.
If you guys need help, we got you.
We got you.
Yes.
Especially, this is the first time I'm drinking this keto shake while recording. Usually I have like a water hidden or something. But I gotta say, I mean, I kind of been getting tired of it, but at the same time, it's still glorious. Give people a keto update on where you're at.
I am currently, well, I weighed myself earlier this week, and I'm at 181. My original goal, I smashed that thing. I was aiming for 185 before I went on vacation.
Yeah.
So I was at 185 a couple weeks ago, so I still had a month left. So I was like, hey, let me try to get down to 175. So I have 6 more pounds to go before we leave in about 2.5 weeks. And I'm honestly really happy where I'm at. And I won't be disappointed if I don't make it to 175.
Okay.
And I was talking about how I'm going to be while I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be too strict, but at the same time, I'm not going to eat bowls of rice every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So
true.
Because you can easily put on 10 pounds in like a week and a half.
No, definitely. I mean, honestly, congratulations on where have you gotten so far.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've seen you work hard at it. I mean, you've approached this as persistently as you have, I guess, your career musically or photography wise. And you see the results. So like,
thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Killing it.
Thank you for acknowledging it.
Killing it, especially with the workout, just eating habits and all. So I think you're at a way healthier weight.
Absolutely.
And
my knees thank me for it.
Yeah. That's another thing. You feel like your age. You should feel a little younger.
Absolutely. More energy, more clear-headedness.
Yeah.
And I was reading something the other day. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but every pound that you lose relieves 4 pounds of pressure off your knees. And I've had surgery on my right knee before. So
how many pounds did you lose?
44, if I did the math
so
right.
80 pounds off your knees.
Yeah, basically.
Jesus
80,
Christ.
What was it? 4 pounds for every... What was it? 4 pounds? 1 pound for every... 4 pounds of pressure off your knees for every pound. So 44 times 4 equals... I just relieved 176 pounds of pressure off my knees.
That's a lot.
Yes.
And people not realizing that.
No, at all. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Don't want to bore people too much with a keto update because cool. I have a couple topics I want to discuss.
Wait, one more thing about keto before you go. I know on social media.
Before I leave you doing this podcast by yourself.
Yep, that's it. I want you to prepare yourself. No, but I was going to say, tell them about your social media journey to get this glorious Rebel ice cream.
Oh, my goodness. So if you were following me a couple days ago, I was on a mission to find this Rebel ice cream. And I checked a couple places before, and I don't know why I didn't think about just going on the website to see if they had like a place where they carry them.
Well, they only sold it in the South, like Midwestern and South areas. This is the first time I think it's hit the East Coast.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it did. Well, I was told that several ShopRites have them. You told me there was one around here. Amy told me there was one around her way. And my stupid ass thought that maybe there's one around my way because I have like maybe 3 ShopRites within like 15 minutes from my house.
Because this goes deeper than just having Rebel ice cream in a ShopRite.
Exactly. Which is crazy because I'm going to go into a little tangent. And that might segue into one of the topics that I have. So
I'm working even when I'm not. I'm telling you, bro.
So this Rebel ice cream, right? And now it just sparks another conspiracy. Not a conspiracy, but a fact into my head that in... I don't want to say impoverished neighborhoods because it's not a impoverished neighborhood, but in less health conscious neighborhoods, they don't have very much health conscious.
I think
products.
Surrounding areas are giving those areas stigmas. if you want to ask.
Yeah. So don't get in there yet because I'm going to ask you something later.
No, I got you.
Don't get too deep just yet. But so my point is I went on the website and saw that several ShopRites, well, one ShopRite in my area had it after already going to one of them.
Okay.
And the ShopRite by my house is just like one of those like pretty diverse ones where it's like it carries just a lot of products and stuff.
Gotcha.
So I didn't even think about, hey, this is not a very health conscious area. So I went to the one in Bloomfield.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I went to the one in Bloomfield because they said they carry it. And I arrived there and it has like the first thing I see once I walk into the door, because I'm like trying to get in there and get out.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little frustrated at this point.
Yeah.
So I get there and I see a fridge full of like keto coffee. I was like, yeah, good sign.
Good sign.
So I head straight to the ice cream aisle. Didn't find it at all. I ran up and down those aisles like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So then I went to the one by your house 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
And I found it there, but I didn't see it in the ice cream aisle. And I asked somebody, and I should have asked somebody in Bloomfield, where is your Rebel ice cream? Because I found it in the natural foods aisle. Yes. Which I didn't even know had a freezer.
That's what I was about to say. I say that would have went past my...
Yeah, so I finally found it and I tried it and it was amazing. I put my cheesecake bites in it, put a little fruit cream, fruit dressing. What are we calling that?
I don't know. I would say to me
fruit
it's close to jelly.
Sauce?
Berry sauce. Berry sauce.
Yo, orgasmic.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's like honestly, even if you guys aren't on keto, Rebel ice cream, I think it only has 7 or 8 carbs to every pint of ice cream.
Some of them have different numbers, but you can get one as low as, I think the vanilla is like 5 net carbs per pint.
This tastes, if I could compare it to anything, like last time I was in Italy, I had real gelato, and I would say that this ice cream is, if not more, just like creamy. It's like pure. It has like monk fruit, has like sweeteners and stuff like that. It's not too sweet. Maybe it's like our palates have changed, but maybe if you guys are listening, try it. Give us your feedback, because I think it's a really, really good product. Yeah. And it's delicious. So
a lot of people ask me about it. Just anybody looking for healthier options for ice cream. The only thing is it's not dairy free.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for the lactose people.
No.
But it's no extra sugar, no added sugars, very low carbs like we mentioned, and it tastes pretty good.
Yeah. If you guys want an alternative that is dairy free, I do recommend the So Delicious sugar free, dairy free bars. Bars are good, the chocolate covered ones, or they sell pints, but it's very limited on the flavors. I think they have like chocolate, vanilla, butter pecan. And I think that's where it ends. Mint chip. I think mint chip as well. It's decent selection, but nothing crazy.
It's decent. Okay, so conspiracy bag. I'm gonna get into your conspiracy bag.
Let's do.
Let me know what you think is going on in DR.
Oh man, I don't know. To me,
because I have no idea. I mean, I've been reading little articles here and there, and I can't call it. I mean,
you know what it is?
What the hell's going on?
To me, there's certain things where I feel like larger countries try to keep other countries at a certain empowerment or standstill. So I feel like...
So you think somebody's sabotaging the DR?
All the time. I feel like people... I feel like...
I hate when people say the DR, and I just said that.
Yeah, the DR. And you were like super like, I don't know, passionate about that. You're like, the DR? We just need my mom to come in and be like, the Dominican?
So that's even whiter when people say the Dominican.
Yeah, I hear it all the time. No, so I was like, I was thinking, it's not, people don't, like, the government, I swear, this is not like even conspiracy bag anymore. I really feel like it's been proven that there's technology that can control climate. So whether it's climate control or you see like tsunamis, hurricanes taking over islands, St. Martin, all these other things, there could be a lot of quote unquote natural disasters. But I feel at the same time, when a country is when other countries make money off of other countries, I feel like you have to keep them at a certain place. What are you doing?
I'm trying to fix this mic. It's really bugging me.
Yeah, but this is where it's at. It's like if you don't want somebody to advance, especially like a country like the Dominican Republic, where there is been a lot of poverty and I guess crime and stuff like that. It wants to scare the American people from going there, having money circulate, things like that. So to me, I see it more from a capitalistic standpoint. Mm-hmm. So and if not, if I have to step outside of the conspiracy bag, unfortunately, it's just one thing where somebody's just creating a bad name for the Dominican Republic on their own. They could be from the Dominican Republic.
Do you think the person trying to sabotage the Dominican Republic is the same person that called a hit on David Ortiz?
Oh, I don't know. That's extra deep. But
because that happened around the same time, and I didn't mean to laugh, but
no.
Thankfully, he's okay.
I feel what's even worse. It's not even like the Dominican Republic. It's the Caribbean. Because I shot a wedding recently, and it was from. Do you remember Estania? Okay.
I would remember that name.
Okay. Well, she's a friend that I met a long time ago when I met like Cass. We all worked at the same food joint called Fresh City. And her friend is Carlene that I shot the wedding with, which I shot her brother's wedding. Yeah. A lot of connections, whatever. But those whole circle of people, including Kendall, know that couple that went missing in the Bahamas.
I saw him post something about it. Yeah.
Was it the Bahamas or Bermuda or something like that?
One of the
Barbados.
Bees. One of the bees.
It's one of those. But they were a couple from Montclair, and unfortunately, they're still missing. The only things that they found were the jet ski that they rented. But a lot of things have been happening in the Caribbean where people are going missing or people are dying, and it just sucks. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I guess when it hits closer to home, you're just like, wow, this is this could happen to anybody.
This is real. Real deal, Holyfield.
Well, I'm hoping for that family, no matter what the outcome. I just hope that people can find their answers, find their peace, and that everybody else can have an understanding of what happened to their friends. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel a lot of weird things go on now, and I feel like war is not as evident or generalized. I feel like people slip in little attacks in the street, quote unquote, to slow the wheels of some countries. So that's my take.
Who do you think it is?
I don't know.
You think it's Europeans? Is it you French people? You're trying to drive people but to France rather than the Caribbean?
The thing is too, that's another thing with France. Even though I was born in France, there's like a certain pride you take from your heritage or your country. But right now, the way I've been seeing France going, it's not what it used to be. It's picking up that hectic, crazy American. Something's happening on the news. People are dying all the time. Cars are on fire. You got the yellow jacket movement. It's a lot of rebellion. It's the government versus the people, and you never know. I feel like a lot of these countries we can't even start to comprehend the finances they have, especially from world travelers. Like, France is a very wealthy country, and the technological advancements I've seen, even when I was younger, like when I used to visit when I was 16, I had my godmother and my godfather. He worked for the Grand Prix, or he worked for Renault. So when you saw Formula One races, you saw like all the technology that went into the cars then, but you also saw jet fighters that used to like present themselves from the government. And I would see these things go like this. It'd be like, and it'd like be at a standstill. Like it was like the, what was it called? The Blackbird from X-Men?
Oh, it is Blackbird, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would see technology like that where it was like, it could stop in midair and stuff like that. So the way I see it, and especially hearing things from the Joe Rogan Bob Lazar.
That was gonna be one of my topics.
Yeah. No, I was saying that like I feel like I've gotten so much more insight to where our technology can be, and I feel
shouldn't even have told you about that. Then just gets you deeper and deeper
No,
into your conspiracy bag.
It does.
You're gonna get lost in there.
But you know what? It really.
Your conspiracy bag is like the size of a female like travel bag.
No, it's the size of Santa Claus's gift bag. Like.
Wait. Before you go on with that,
Yeah.
I'm looking up stuff while you've been going off on this, right? I was just joking about the France thing, but what do you think is the number one? The stereotypical drink a Dominican would drink, like alcoholic beverage. Hard liquor.
Rum.
Hard liquor.
Rum.
Yeah. What was like one of the big ones? It's not a rum, it's a cognac.
Oh, like Hennessy.
Hennessy. Where's the Hennessy factory at?
France.
What's another one?
Interesting. Wow, connecting dots.
What's another one? Diddy. Think
Oh,
Diddy.
Ciroc?
Ciroc. Where's the Ciroc factory?
France. Wow. Damn.
I solved the case. You're welcome, FBI.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it too, like France has a lot of investments in the Haitian community too.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think
when Haitians and Dominicans hate each other, mostly Dominicans on the
maybe the Haitians are paying the French to kill the Dominican people, but it's Americans that are getting hit in the crossfire. This is a whole new Cold War.
But that's how you hit Dominicans harder, though. Hit the ones that are up here.
Oh, wow.
That are going down there to vacation. So then they won't come down there and bring more money and circulate into the country.
Exactly.
Wow.
I'm proud of how your conspiracy bag has grown. This guy used his conspiracy bag.
Was a little pocketbook.
He had a clutch. All right, not even. He was like had one of those like flat ass, like bougie ass, like
little magic wallet.
Yeah, little magic wallet things. And I'm like, all right, Jay. And now he's like got a whole LV bag full of conspiracies.
Hold on.
But did you also hear about the recent news from the New York Times where 31 French people committed suicide at the one job facility?
Did you tell me about that, or did I read that randomly?
I think I read it yesterday.
No. Please tell me.
Apparently, there is a company in France where 31 of their employees committed suicide. And I will bring up the article.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and it just seems...
It's happened recently, right?
Yeah.
Like a few days ago?
Mm-hmm. Like...
Roger Federer versus Nadal. I give him random sports updates throughout the day.
No, it was kind of... I'm trying to find it.
Ow. Shit. If you watch this on YouTube and see random like cuts in and out of the video, one annoying thing about our camera is that it only records in half-hour spans. So if you ever hear my alarm going off, that's why.
Here, guys.
And if you
I
ever
don't
see
know
my
if you
camera
guys can
going
see
off,
this, but New York Times, 35 employees
committed suicide. Where will their bosses go to jail?
Yeah.
Why'd they commit suicide? What was the reasoning?
Well, here we go. So, it says Paris, in their blue blazers and tight haircuts, the aging men look uncomfortable in their courtroom dock, and for a good reason. They are accused of harassing employees so relentlessly that workers ended up killing themselves.
Jesus. Did they all do it at the same time?
That says the men, all former top executives of France's giant telecom company, wanted to downsize the business by thousands of workers a decade ago, but they couldn't fire most of them. The workers were state employees for life, and therefore protected. So the executives resolved to make a life unbearable for the workers.
To make them quit.
Fuckers. Prosecutors say. Instead, at least 35 employees, workers, advocates say nearly double that number committed suicide, feeling trapped.
Shit.
Betrayed or despairing of to ever finding new work in France's immobile label market. So, I guess...
Did they say any... Well, they didn't say anything whether they did it at the same time.
Well, I guess it's whether it's overtime or spam, but I just
so
think
crazy.
It's kind of crazy. Like, if that's your body count at a job, like, imagine you go to Chipotle and you're just like, 20 employees kill themselves over time working at Chipotle. I'm like, I feel you.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, it's crazy to get like 3 to 4 people to go to like HR. Like, let's say you're having a problem at a workplace, right? It's hard to get like 3 to 4 people like, yo, let's go in there. We got to be all on the same page. Let's do this. Let's overthrow the government or whatever.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But 31 people to just say, hey, I'm ending this. Oh. That's crazy.
And the thing is with France, like, I swear, like even recently, because since I'm going to France, I didn't want my dad picking me up from the airport this time. I wanted to actually take a train. But the thing is, even with transportation or any type of business, you always got to watch out because France is always going on strike. Because they have those situations where they're changing the contract or people are missing out on their benefits or whatever, and people go on strike. So like even when I arrive, it's like the strike is going on until August 1st with certain trains. So I can't even take a train to...
Damn Frenchies.
I know, man. It's crazy.
Killing Dominicans, going on strike, so you can't take your train.
Wait. I mean, we got to hold up. We got to fact check a little bit. But man. I mean, I like where you were going with
that. That, right?
I like that.
I'm telling you. My true crime podcast, bro, is opening up my eyes to the evil in people.
the thing too is the new president, Macron, that they inducted into France. Macron. It's not macaroon. It's Macron.
I like macaroons. Though.
He's a cool guy. Like when I first saw him, like he was laying down the swag onto Rihanna. I don't know if you ever saw that clip. Yeah. No, like my dad likes him a lot. He's like the quote unquote Bernie Sanders that made it in France.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't like him for that. So a lot of people have been trying to throw dirt on his name. So I don't know if that's also connected, where you might have. Did you ever hear the analogy? I think it was KRS-One that said it, where he said, you can go to the manager at Burger King and complain to him about how the fries are cold, like that.
I think he told me about that.
It's kind of like as a customer, you are, just somebody. You're a citizen, and you're going to the manager, and you're thinking that going to the president and complaining to him changes everything. But there's people behind the manager,
behind and under, and
exactly. So I feel like
it's easy to reach people too.
Yeah, if you, there's always bigger powers behind who you see, that's just
that's why they always say that if you want some kind of change, I mean, in politics is very difficult, but if they say that you want some kind of change, to do your local government before going higher, because
that's another thing within business or within anything else, you guys have to be like a bundle. You guys have to be like a bundle.
Finish up the thought.
Yeah, you guys have to be like a bundle of sticks. Like you got to be hard to break. You can break one stick by itself.
Yeah.
But if you guys go in as a bunch,
right,
more power.
It's harder to break you.
Exactly. So that's basically what I was getting. It's just like it's harder to break when you guys are empowered.
Yes. I like this. Going back to kind of touching on the keto thing again, right?
Okay.
Have you ever had keto dreams?
Keto dreams?
Yeah.
Please inform me.
I don't know if this is like a term, but I kind of just like coined it, whatever. If it doesn't exist, I'm patenting it.
Okay.
So actually carb dreams, right? Have you ever had a dream where you're in some kind of restaurant or something like that and you accidentally eat carbs and then you realize that after your face is full of like whatever it is that you're eating, you're like, oh no.
I felt like that was like my experience with Cass in Indonesia.
Yours happened for real.
I've been having dreams though so frequently that I'm losing my teeth.
I forget what it was. I was reading something about like dreams and their interpretations of what they mean. And one of them was about that. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Like I've lost my teeth,
like the meaning
at least 3 times in the past month in dreams. And it's like, I become really self-conscious about it. Or it's like, I kind of quote unquote, even though I'm not feeling pain in my dream, I'm feeling like, like there's blood everywhere. I'm like, why are my teeth falling out? It's like kind of weird. I don't even know. It's like,
oh, here we go. Dream Moods notes that dreams where you lose teeth are typically associated with feelings of powerlessness and loss of control. Damn. On a personal note, I can recall a friend, blah, blah, blah. I think this is just like, what do dreams mean? Okay, here's another one. 7 common stress dreams decoded. So this is, I guess, the continuation of the article. Losing teeth or falling out. Here we go. La, 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 la. They can also mean that you're worried about losing something, like a job or a relationship.
Interesting.
Do with that information what you choose.
No. You know what it is? To be honest, is that I was stressing about my career in general. I got in a really dark place in the sense where I was like,
being snappy in text messages towards me.
No. Hey, listen, you could be a tortoise too, okay? Snappy tortoise. But
snap.
no, it's one of those situations where it was kind of like, I guess I looked at it from the worst perspective as an artist, because like we do live in a day and an age where you don't feel like there's a consistency or a loyalty all the time. I've seen some of the greatest of performers, entertainers, that they have this kind of like longevity for a certain amount of time. They're the greatest on top of the world, and they eventually lose that one day. And I'm not even talking about the top of the top. There's sometimes like these acts that come and go, like they're beloved for a minute, and then like what happens to their lives after that? That like made me think about some things, because you work so hard to acquire this position just to make a career out of your recognition, your popularity. And then you have to do your best, even from getting, when you think you put a single out and you're like, oh, I'm going to ride off the single, but then you need like an album, and then you need all this other stuff. And you got to have that luck on top of it, that hoping that everything you do like takes fire. And then I'm like, what happens to the day that like Lil Nas X is like not popular anymore? Does he go back to like a regular job? Does he have like,
I think unless he blows his money somehow, I think he's set for life.
I would hope so.
That's all they say. Like, all you need is that one banger, and your family's like, your kids are good.
No, I think about that though, because I was just like, just like any other human being, like I don't care who you are. It's like, I'm confident in my skill set and stuff like that, but if it's not recognized by the public sometimes, I feel like it's hard to make a career out of what you do.
Yeah.
So it's not solely based off of your quality, your talent, or who you are.
You need some kind of validation.
Yeah, you need some type of validation, or some type of applause. And it's just like when people decide to not give you that anymore one day, like hopefully everybody's okay, or you made enough money that you can survive.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about this the other day, and I feel like, and it's very difficult because I've always been the guy that's like, try not to seek validation, but we're in an industry where we need some kind of validation to know that we are going at least down the right path.
Yeah.
As far as our creativity. And so you kind of get caught up in that, like, hey, if I post something on Instagram, if it doesn't get as much likes as I thought I was going to get, then, you feel like a failure. But, you try not to. You kind of just like, I try to at least just let it fly and not look at the notifications. I even turn my notifications off. That way I'm not distracted.
Because we literally live off of comments and likes. It's not something you...
What's been going on with that audio?
I don't know.
But
I've been seeing with the computers in general. But what I'm saying is that, it's not something it's not a physical thing we could truly obtain. It's like, it's comments and likes. It's like having a review on your website. Are you 5 stars? Are you 4 stars? Are you 3 stars?
Yeah. And you're at the mercy of everybody else. And I hate having that feeling. Yeah. I think that's probably why you're having those dreams.
That's what I feel.
Because it's not in your control. You can control so much. Like, you can control as far as the quality of the product you put out, but you have no control as to how people are going to receive it.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly why you're right.
Your teeth are falling out.
My teeth are falling out of my dreams. And that's what I've been feeling.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, going back to ice cream, what do you think about this ice cream liquor incident?
Oh, okay. I was thinking about like, why is the Hennessy on this ice cream?
Yeah, I guess I should have used a different word.
No. I don't know, man. I so many, I don't know, immature things gain traction and popularity. It's just like
so corny.
It's so corny, and like, but everybody still applauds it. People think it's funny. I don't know.
It's funny until somebody gets arrested, which that girl got arrested, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid. You never know. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
like what if that person had herpes, or like
That's exactly
like
why what do they call the FDA got involved? But
or something like that. It's like there's people out there that like you could have diseases and they're so unhappy with their lives they try to just pass it on.
mm-hmm.
And I know that's like deeper. Again, that's a conspiracy bag, but
Mm-hmm.
When people are doing outrageous stuff like that, it's you never know what's going on.
Clout chasing for stupid shit.
Yeah, man.
But I asked that because I fell into a rabbit hole the other day, and I think it was on Twitter. When these were being talked about, and everybody was like copycatting all.
I'm gonna
this
call
stuff.
you Alice because you're always ending up in this rabbit hole.
Yo, for real. But I got into, because when you go on Twitter, right, and somebody, let's say a tweet goes viral, I like jumping into the comment section because a lot of people have like really funny comments, but this wasn't too funny.
Okay.
This was more of the reasoning behind why I think most products have like that seal, plastic seal on their products. So now ice cream has the plastic seal on it.
But I still feel like those people rip it off.
Yeah.
Like put it down.
What I was saying is this guy tweeted in that viral tweet that dumb girl did to Google the Chicago Tylenol Murders of the 1982. So I did my research and I landed on Wikipedia and I found this. The Chicago Tylenol Murders were a series of poisoning deaths resulting from drug tampering in the Chicago metropolitan area in 1982. The victims had all taken Tylenol branded acetaminophen. I don't know how to pronounce medications, but capsules that had been laced with potassium cyanide.
Jesus Christ.
A total of 7 people died in the original poisonings, with several more deaths in subsequent copycat crimes. These incidents led to reforms in the packaging of over-the-counter substances to the federal anti-tampering laws. So, what I put together was that because of these incidents, I'm guessing that's when companies started like sealing their products.
Gotcha.
Like how sodas have that like one thing, or any kind of drink has that one thing that if
the
you snap it.
I always check that with water bottles.
You should now,
because like Poland Spring, like it's less evident when you're doing the cracking of the top. So sometimes you're like, damn, was it already loose or not? Because I noticed that with a lot of the
girlfriends you've had in the past.
No, like, but I don't know why. Horrible. No, but like, it's like, the thing is, why would somebody drink out of a Poland Spring, refill it with tap water, and then close it again? But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess
think there's a conspiracy between some of those.
Here we go.
You know what it is? You got the halal guys, right?
Oh shit.
They pay the Asian people from like Chinatown in New York to grab those bottles from all around the city. You ever see those like Asian ladies that grab all the plastic bottles?
Yeah.
And then they have like this thing from China where they get the cheaper soda and they're refilling it in these bottles, right? And then they're repackaging and selling it to the halal guys for half the price.
Oh damn.
You know what I'm saying? And then everybody else is getting like this like half-assed Mountain Dew and water, but nobody knows because the halal food tastes so good from the seasoning.
That's the distraction.
That's the distraction.
From the actual.
We're going to start making people paranoid. We can't do this.
Oh my God. Damn.
Because what are they doing with those bottles? I know they're making a little like 5 cents on each plastic bottle or something.
I think something like that. I think you
I want to make a movie.
At least they want to make you believe that they bring it back to these recycling centers and then they get 5 cents for each bottle.
Do you see them? I've seen one lady, she's like tied the bag and it's like choking her, but she has like 2 huge bags.
She has like in the cartoons,
and then she has
with
a walking
stick.
That's it. I was like, what the hell?
Yo.
And they're always out like super late, like shady as hell. Like it's 3
real.
in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
When do you sleep?
Dumpster diving. They sleep in the daytime, clearly.
I'm telling you.
Whoa. How do we get there?
It's like,
the ice cream liquor girl. Do you think she should get jail time?
She should get some type of repercussion. If not, she should get like not like even like a house arrest, but she should have to do
Probation or something.
probation with a little bit of
Make her work at the ice cream factory.
She'll be like,
Now she'll be the one stealing all the fucking things.
nah, she'll be
Fucking
doing
asshole.
something else.
But yeah, I just saw a bunch of disgusting copycats. Like one guy, like really, I almost punched my phone in the face.
What
the
do you
other
think?
day.
What do you think about hashtag cucumber challenge?
I saw the cucumber challenge the other day, but I never saw any of the videos. What was that about? Were people like sucking on cucumbers
That's basically
and
what
putting
it
them
gets
back,
to. There was this one girl,
not knowing there's pesticides on that shit? I hope they were organic. Organic cucumbers.
Jay, ladies out there, Jay wants to hand you an organic cucumber.
Oh
Thoughtful ass guy.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, but yeah, there was one girl. She was going ham, quote unquote, on this cucumber, saliva and
It's
all.
not vegan.
I mean, you know, like this is where I was getting to with the last podcast about the thirst trapping, and I mean, there's a certain degree of vulgarity that is become the new sexy. I mean, this is just my opinion. I actually got backlash for it, straight up last time. So I don't know, like either
double down, kid, double down.
yeah, either like in this world you're seen as misogynistic because you're not letting your woman enter the cucumber challenge, or you're just trying to protect somebody's dignity. Because just in a public sense, it's like, yeah, we get that you can go on, go in on a D.
Go girl.
We get it, and not one guy is not gonna think, subconsciously that's like very exciting. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like social media has entered the world beyond no shame. So
yeah, that's weird though. I'm all about like sexual freedom and stuff like that, but sucking on a cucumber in the middle of the supermarket is a
Amber
little weird.
Rose had a 5-piece video on it where she was
did it
speaking. No, she was speaking on it because she said, "It's okay for these ladies to go in on the cucumber challenge." She said, personally, she can't go that far with the cucumber, so she.
Do you mean the action itself, like doing
Yeah,
it, or she can't
do
go
it.
that
She does.
far
She does.
into-
She
You know
has
what
a
I mean?
gag reflex.
Oh, okay.
So she says she makes up for it in personality and other things, and that you should never be ashamed if you can't go in on a cucumber. There was like all these different things to it,
What?
and I was like, it would be Amber Rose. Like, I'm not saying that in a bad sense,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, she's the face of sexual freedom and
it's sexual
feminism
freedom and stuff like that.
Well, one of.
I'm just saying, ladies,
there's different ways to express yourself.
no, whatever
Express
you,
your
yeah,
sexuality and stuff like
whatever you're doing, please, in a sense,
that.
know there's repercussions for everything. So if you don't want to attract the wrong people, there are a lot of crazy guys out there. At the same time, there are crazy women too.
Probably people waiting outside the supermarket.
Yeah,
for these
and
girls.
the thing is, people find ways to find people, and if they can't get their way, sometimes they hurt people and stuff like that. So I just want everybody to be smart before they put themselves out there in a certain way, and protect yourselves, because again, between the Dominican Republic, between just what goes on nowadays, a lot of people go missing.
Yeah, people are crazy, man.
Yeah, and you don't want to end up under somebody's bed somewhere in a Brooklyn basement.
Oh God.
And that's it. It's just like, have fun, do what you like, but at the same time be smart and understand what you do.
Yeah, that just goes in general. Just be careful what you put out there into the universe, because in the viral age that we live in, any little thing that you put out there cannot be taken down, because it gets to a certain point where it gets so out of control that it's out there.
Yeah.
And you might not get a job because you're sucking on a cucumber at Pathmark.
Yeah. You never know who will find you. And
Right.
that's the thing. It's like, I mean, that takes away from your freedom too, as a person. Certain companies should be able to separate what you do in your quote unquote personal life, even though you're putting it out in the public, from everything else.
Yeah,
but
yeah. That's another topic.
that's it. Again, like I said, from a man's perspective, from a straight man's perspective, there's not
cis male.
there's nothing. A lot of those things are very attractive. Like I admitted to it, even to the person that had kind of disagreed with me with a couple of posts that seemed, I guess, to them misogynistic on my end, I said that, behind closed doors, in a sense, there's certain sexual things that I love that I haven't even really expressed publicly. Like as a guy, I'm like, wow, I love this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
But when it hits a certain public and stuff like that, it can affect your career as much as me posting my views on it. You know what I'm saying? So again, you guys, even if I'm not, if you're not the person sucking the cucumber, you can also get in trouble if you're commenting on it. So be careful.
Shit. I was gonna segue off that.
Okay.
But I can't remember now. My memory's been shit lately. So what were you saying? Misogynistic. Oh, okay. So you were mentioning that somebody disagreed with you?
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with disagreeing.
No.
On either end. It just opens up the conversation where both sides can talk. And it's good that us as straight males can, and we're pretty good when it comes to like, having conversations with others. If we disagree on something, let's talk about it.
This person became truly offended though. It spiraled, not where I wanted it to go, but and it's always hard through text. I don't like having these conversations with people on social media by text, because I could be saying something in sincerity, but the text is like very monotone, so it's like almost doesn't have an emotion. So
that's why I overuse emojis, emojis and GIFs. Yeah, that's why I overuse them, so I can portray what I'm feeling at that particular moment that I'm sending that text.
I guess that's it is important to use emojis and stuff like that.
I think so, but sometimes people may take it as sarcasm.
Yeah, so I know that's another thing. It's a very fine line.
Yeah, so
that's why I actually switched. And you know what? It has a really nice clarity. If you guys ever used IG voice recorder, it's really, really nice.
Very, very helpful. Yeah,
very helpful.
I had a conversation with somebody on the Benetton page the other day, where it's like I wanted to not portray, but I wanted to get this idea off, and she actually contacted me. Through the voice. I was like, "Yo, this thing is here."
No, the clarity is nice.
The clarity is cool, and we got our ideas out there, and it. I would probably recommend something like that. In the future, if something like that happens, like, hey, this is no offense, let's talk about it type of thing. Because I remember a few years ago when what's his name, Bruce Jenner was transitioning to Caitlyn. I may have made a couple, not a joke or anything like that, but it was like something where transgender people were out there, right? But not as out there until Bruce made the transition to Caitlyn or whatever. So I had mentioned something on Facebook, and somebody was dating a transgender person that was transitioning at the time. And this person got very offended. And I'm like, listen, I wasn't trying to offend you, but if you are offended in some way, let's talk about it. Yeah. And that person hasn't spoken to me since. Yeah.
Somebody I know?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But this person is like very ignorant and doesn't have the maturity to have a conversation. And again, we are people. We are programmed a certain way.
Shots fired.
We are certain people, right? Yeah, we are programmed a certain way. We are raised a certain way. And we've mentioned this on previous podcasts. We have to unlearn other things. Yeah. Things that are not healthy to build relationships with other people, to be more open-minded, to be more understanding of others. You know what I mean? So I implore you guys to mature your communication levels. And if your point isn't getting across, use voice, call, meet up in person. Let's have a coffee or tea, whatever you're into, and teach me. I'm willing to learn. Always willing to learn.
Exactly. That's the thing that I always enjoy about this podcast, and I enjoy about us in general, is that we're always open. We're ready to learn, and we're not
trying to offend anyone.
No, we're not closing the gates on somebody, just because we disagree. That's it. So
yeah. And just keep in mind that we are open-minded. We are always trying to learn and unlearn bad things.
Even my brother, like, we had this conversation the other day, and we said, he said he's always trying to see both sides. And he said at first he's disagreed a lot with the Republicans on certain things, but he's starting to disagree with the Democrats on things because
I'm on that same page.
yeah, he said when it came to this whole conflict with abortion, he's saying the problem with the Democrats versus the Republicans is that the Democrats as a majority seem to neglect the fact that death is still involved, and that even though it's pro-choice on their end,
Mm-hmm.
you're negating the fact that you are killing something.
Yeah.
And then on the Republican end is saying, you know, the only thing is with some politicians on the Republican, they're like, we shouldn't abort this child. It is a life. You should, if you do abort it, you should, you know, have to deal with the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But like when it comes to their daughters or their mistresses, they're like, okay, abortion's great. You know what I'm saying?
Side chick gets pregnant.
Side chick. Oh yeah. We should change the abortion law just for today. And you're like, okay,
real quick.
yeah. But that's the thing too. It's like, you know, even though on keto there is vegan keto, but there is also, you know, carnivorous keto. And the thing is, I see a lot of vegans, man. Like, you guys have to understand, you can talk to plants. If you look at trees, how they intertwine their roots, there is a life to it. You kill that plant, it is no longer able to give off oxygen to us or have the chlorophyll or within it. So it's like you're killing things too. So let's not negate the fact, and this is not coming at vegans. I'm just saying, like, you know,
the extreme vegans.
Yeah, there's a Brazilian chef. Actually, my brother went to Brazil recently. He went to his restaurant. I forgot the gentleman's name, but he's on the Netflix Chef's Table. And he said the thing with food or with, you know, being a chef, you always have to realize that there is death within your meal. And it's not the thing a lot of people want to face, but there's always death always takes place.
I just feel the room getting darker. That light's gonna go out in a few seconds. The sun's gonna go away.
No, but it's true. So, like, again, when we're talking about seeing both sides, you can't just, you know, like lay in the pool and say everything's great when if you zoomed out a little bit, there's a ring of fire around it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
it's like that dog in the fire.
Exactly.
This is fine, dog.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are living like that this way, and that you're going to an extreme where it's like everything's fine, let me do my thing. But if we zoomed out a little bit from that dog's face because people cropped on it, you can see a lot of things are messed up on the edges. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that brings me to, I'm gonna try to find this tweet, but just speaking on the government and how each side just goes so far in the opposite direction, that is kind of a turnoff for me. What's that lady's name? The Ocasio girl?
Oh yeah.
Has become popular lately.
Yeah, the Democratic. Is she running for? No, she's part of Congress.
She's part of the Senate, I think.
Yeah.
Is she a senator? No.
I think so.
Yo, I'm rolling through my Twitter. And let's see this.
Is that Ricardo?
No, but it could be. Yo, hold on. Why can't I get the sound back?
If you guys should follow Jay's Twitter. It's actually very entertaining.
What is going on?
Wow. This is the last thing you see before you die in the Dominican Republic. If you see this robot, know your life will be taken within seconds.
Oh, this fucking ice cream liquor girl. I don't know where this tweet went. It was only a couple of days ago, but she was saying something along the lines, and don't quote me on this, but it's talking about, let's get rid of the Homeland Security or something like that. She wants to get rid of Homeland Security. I didn't read the article because I hate reading stuff about politics, but I kind of retweeted it, and I was like, yo, let's just get rid of the whole damn White House while we're at it.
It's funny because I've been seeing a lot of people tweet about how to protect yourself from ICE.
Yeah. And I posted something on the Benetton page.
If you guys are unfamiliar with ICE, I feel like it's immigration. What does it stand for? Immigration
seizing, I think.
Yeah. Definition. Enforcement. Something like that. I don't know.
You could continue talking while I look this up.
Yeah, so basically, ICE has been taking a lot of illegal immigrants who don't have documentation and stuff, and
Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
yeah,
We're
so
way off.
they've been
Well,
setting
we
up
got
their own. You know how like they do certain checks, like the cops
Checkpoints.
towards the
Yeah.
checkpoints at the end of the month, where they're
trying to
like,
get their quote.
yeah. So I feel ICE has been doing the same thing within our areas, and this goes for Jersey and stuff like that. So
I think it's supposed to start on Sunday. So
this
a
is
couple
like
days
this is
before
like
this
another
drops.
topic. Again, I discussed this with my brother. How do you feel about this? Like, if your household where you live in Clifton, if that was the U.S., right, and some random people just walk through your front door and start sitting on your couch, how would you feel about that?
Are they paying rent?
They're actually,
Are they functioning members of this household? Are they
If-
washing dishes, taking out the garbage?
if they started washing dishes and taking out the garbage, but every time you get up or whatever you're trying to do, they're in the living room, how do you feel?
I'm annoyed about my family members that do that. My roommates.
It's like, I mean, that's where it gets hard. Like if somebody, like, because somebody brought it up to me, where they said, like, if somebody came into your house,
Yeah.
stuff.
That's more personal though. Like people try to make references to stuff like
Yeah.
that and try to tie things in. And like, yeah, I get it. I don't want anybody
Yeah.
walking into my house.
But
and
at the
doing that
same
stuff,
time, the
but-
way I see it is that a majority of the illegal immigrants that are here, they make the American lifestyle easier. Like usually these people are in the kitchens or behind working very hard so you can get your morning bagel.
yeah, doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do.
Yeah, so I feel like, honestly, like if all those people disappeared, it'd be like a ghost town. Like,
Yeah.
like you would go and you'd be like, can I get a bagel and a coffee? Be like, hello? Anybody here?
It'll be like the Thanos snap.
Yes.
Exactly.
Wow,
like that.
that'd be dope. Can we make a Thanos snap / immigration movie?
Immigration movie. Yeah. I think there might be something like that actually. I think I saw like a YouTube video.
I
of,
did,
Like, what
yeah,
would happen
yeah,
if
yeah.
like immigrants
Weren't
live
here. Yeah.
Yeah, these immigrants are on your roofs. Are
I mean, that's what makes America
fixing
in
shit,
the first
making
place.
your bagels in the morning,
Yeah.
ripping out these plants out the ground that you want to suck on in the middle of Pathmark for these viral videos.
Crazy.
So, I mean, it's a touchy subject. It's always
so
like
touchy.
everything else. It's like there's both sides. I could see certain things. It's like if somebody, like going off that metaphor that you had before, if somebody walks into my house and wants to be a fully functioning member of that household, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But if you walk into my house and stab my nephew in the face, then I don't want you in my house. But by then, it's a little too late.
I think I think it's we don't realize it, but we live in a transitional era, and I say that within like a lot of politics of a lot of things. So the old America that people used to know, between just kind of like the influence of the youth, kind of like where you have certain women that are entering places and certain people of color that are now in power versus how it was established. That's what France is going through. So it's kind of like there is a transitional place where the old school is not happy with the new school is not happy with the old traditional values, and there's this clash. So we're here experiencing it where none of us have the answers, but at the same time we're like taking out our popcorn and watching this all unfold.
Yeah.
So I feel that like it's a transitional period, so there is a lot of sensitivity. It has to do with a lot of whatever side you're playing, somebody's getting affected.
Yeah.
So
It's like with everything else, I think.
yeah,
When
if we're talking about
change
like
comes.
Mexican immigration, I don't think that even a Mexican family that say they got their visas or came in the right way or they are considered Americans now, I don't think you're gonna hear them yelling like, oh yeah, like all Mexicans, blah 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 blah. Like it's a place where maybe America will become more of a Latin-based country, and that's fine. And I feel like that brings fear to certain people, whether that's like people of European descent or whatever. Like, there's always going to be a victor, and it's the same way in sports.
A victor?
Huh? Like a
Is that
victor?
a Mexican joke? Victor? Or
No,
like
no.
somebody that's victorious?
Somebody that's victorious.
Oh, okay.
So like,
But there will always be a victor.
yeah, that's what I'm
waiting
saying.
for
It's
you at
like,
the Home Depot.
the Lakers aren't always going to make it.
Fuck the Lakers.
The Lakers aren't
Don't
always
trigger
gonna,
me right
yeah,
now.
they're not always going to be the championship heroes. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you
use the Warriors.
all right, the Warriors aren't always going to make it to the championships. So you guys have to realize that there will be a fluctuation and a change, and just like, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Just enjoy the process, and know that, we should have more trust within humanity and mankind. I know it's hard when you have people licking ice cream and going viral because of it, but at the same time, there's always a balance.
I'm trying to find this video that I saw.
Wow.
I wouldn't even know how to look it up. But if I stumble across it, I'll send it to you. It was about this guy. I think he was Mexican. I don't know if he was like an influencer of some kind,
Yeah.
but he was talking to a white supremacist that spoke on that and how the white supremacist feared being the minority in a country where he's so used to being the majority.
The majority. Everything
Yeah.
is fear based. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And like, people threw out of fear. Like, have you ever had somebody that that instead of getting fearful, like maybe they'll laugh, or they'll do
nervous laugh.
That nervous laugh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I feel all this is. I feel like through social media, everything that we come across is like a nervous laugh. Instead of, some people can't show.
Do you feel conspiracy theorists feed into that fear?
As well, yes.
Thank you for admitting that.
No, 100%. Like 100%. Like there's.
It's like that thing I walked into today when your mom was like, here's this article that completely written by an Armenian person about sodomy and like child rape in like the U.S. government. I'm like, what?
There's a lot.
Did I just walk into?
There's a lot that, it's kind of like that person. I feel like certain bad mouthing goes around too, because it's just like the guy that couldn't get with the girl in high school, and guess what? She ends up being a hoe because she doesn't sleep with him. So
she ends up being a hoe?
Well, he says she's a
hoe.
hoe.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that type of game of telephone is also played amongst many people.
Yeah.
So you also, from a conspiracy theorist point of view, when you hear so much bad stuff about the government or this or that, you might end up finding out it's not that deep. It's just people aren't smart enough to get around it other ways. Or there is, there's a truth to every stereotype as well. So whatever path you decide to take, just look into it.
Amen. So I guess we can continue with the conspiracies here.
Hey man, I love conspiracies.
Just going back to the Joe Rogan podcast, right?
Yes, Bob Lazar.
So I don't know what the hell's been going on with me lately. I don't know if it's because I've been listening to this my little murder podcast thing, but I've just been like trying to see, like diving deeper into the thought process of human beings and why they do certain things. And I'm listening to this podcast, and just to give some people some background information, we were listening to this podcast that Joe Rogan, very good guy. He's really good at what he does.
He is.
He's the perfect person. Like, I feel like he's in a certain place where he's like us, right? Like, he's very open-minded, and he's willing to have a conversation with somebody of
exactly
the opposite side.
You know what I like about his podcast? It's not, because we say conspiracy and this and that, but I think the larger picture of what we're both enjoying right now, and especially because of the type of job that you took on, I think you're a fan but don't know of it, psychology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, I'm just saying, like, we're all very, like, we want to push the limits of why we function the way we do.
I definitely know that. Yeah, I could admit to that. Yeah, absolutely. But what I like about this is that it opens up the conversation.
Yes.
of different things, right?
Yeah.
Even as crazy as this sounds, this guy,
I don't think it's crazy though.
Bob Lazar.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite of crazy.
But thinking, just like taking a step back and just listening to the conversation. So background information: Bob Lazar, right? That's his
Bob
name?
Lazar.
Is this guy that used to work? According to him, he used to work at this area. What they used to call it Area 51, but he said that
he worked south of it.
A site somewhere near that area where he said he was working on alien aircrafts.
Yeah,
what we call UFOs.
They found him because he was making these absurd yet powerful engines that
for his car.
For his car,
Yeah.
like they would rocket across the desert, and like they found him as I would say a mechanical engineer.
Very smart guy. So. So he was talking about how he worked on these certain vehicles, space vehicles, I guess you could call them, that
he worked on
weren't
UFOs
from this world.
Yeah,
because
so
of the technology that was in it.
Basically, Bob Lazar was speaking on. They found him. It took like 6 months to get into this program, where they finally unveiled that they found, quote unquote, the engine to a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he's walking through the base. He said that they saw from the corner of his eye, because he was asked to look forward and not to the side until he reached his destination within the base.
Mm-hmm.
But he could clearly see from his sight or his view that there were 9 aircrafts. He found out that 2 were found from the ancient times. 1, I think, in Egypt area, and 1 maybe in like a Nordic country. And that he was told with another scientist or colleague of his to work on the engine of this UFO. And basically, it was like a half sphere that laid on top of this triangle metallic piece, and it had its own gravitational push.
Mm-hmm.
And he said this is the type of stuff
kind of like a force field type.
Yeah, it had a force field where like if you put his hand near it, he could never touch this object, and he could never, like, they were just trying to find out how to manipulate it, how it worked. And the thing is
to understand it, basically.
Yeah, and the thing is, he said one of the scientists had died prior to working on it, because I think they were trying to cut into it with some type of plasma laser. But like he said, there's only certain things, and he got to actually go on board one of these, UFO, one of these crafts. And he said, what really stuck out to me is, again, like, this guy was going into so much detail about stuff. But one thing that really stuck out to me, he said the only thing that he could relate to when he went onto the UFO was that, imagine, the cardboard containers that hold beers? Like the ones that hold the bottles?
Like the one that you carry like
exactly.
that?
He said, when you add pressure from the top of that, if you added pressure from the top, it doesn't collapse easily. He says it kind of holds its structure. And he said, but if you did take the beer bottles out and you collapse it from the side, so easy to, like, make it fold.
Yeah.
And he said when he was in the aircraft, he couldn't really stand up fully, and he's like 5'10". But he said the flooring to where the engine was, there's this honeycomb shaped floor that if you stood on top of it, it can hold your weight. But if you were to press it and fold it from the side, it opened the gate to the engine room. And I thought stuff like that was so intriguing. And I could hear, I don't know if it's a human instinctiveness, but like I feel I could hear the sincerity in this gentleman's voice when he was telling his story. And it was so exciting to me to know that, to me, in my world, I feel like I believe it. And he said his whole goal is that it's kind of like a crime against humanity to know, one, there's 2 questions we always have, and this is why people take the religious route. One, we want to know what happens to us when we die. And secondly, we want to know if we're alone. And to know one of those answers out of the 2 biggest questions in life, to know that we're not alone, there's other life beings from other galaxies and stuff like that, and they have this technology we don't understand yet, is incredible to me. Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, to think that we're alone in this universe that's so huge is foolish, I think.
It would be.
So my take on it was, and I think I texted you this before you even listened to it, and I was like, listen to this thing,
Mhm.
and I'm like on the fence. I find it interesting, right? Whether it's true or not, I'm not here to
But
judge or whatever.
But what does your gut say? Like at the end of the day, if you had to pick like a
I
true or
wouldn't
false,
put it past any government saying that they're hiding all this kind of testing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
well, they're saying
I
that
mean-
they don't even understand how it works. He's like, the government doesn't know how it works. This is why they're testing it.
yeah,
They bring it out every 10 years to see
Mhm.
that if the science that we have now caught up to anything
Yeah.
that they're checking, you know.
I mean, my thoughts is he's either a very, very good storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
He is telling the truth, one or
Yeah.
the other. But either way, it's an interesting story. And my thoughts is if it was so secret, and I don't know if he touched on this because I didn't finish the whole thing. Why is he still alive? Why didn't they just like off him and be like, oh, he fell in the bathtub?
Because that, to me, it would prove it correct. Because I feel the
Okay.
government would keep somebody alive like that and not touch them,
Why would they care?
so they seem crazy. So he seems crazy. Like you're not telling the truth,
I see.
because that would unveil
Mm-hmm.
that it was true, and that
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I see. So then that goes back to the Dr. Sebi thing. Why would they kill Nipsey if it's truly, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
That whole conspiracy that was going
with a
on back then?
situation like that, it's that that's more of a suppression tactic, because it says if you're a man of color and you speak up, if you start spreading the truth, you too will get gunned down. So now, what is most controlled? Through fear.
Mm-hmm.
So if they did that with Bob Lazar, one, it's just showing that, okay, if he disappears because he put it out there, and like it could be like really true,
Mm-hmm.
it would be too evident that the government's trying
Bob
to.
Lazar again, like trip down the stairs or something.
Well, this is a thing. It's a thing of timing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Dr. Sebi and if
So the government has to wait for this to blow over and then they can plot against Bob Lazar.
yeah, they can be like, okay, because he's been consistent with it.
I was gonna say that maybe he's onto something where he stays consistent, stays relevant with his crazy story, so that it doesn't
So he can
die
stay
down.
alive. Because if you die down with it, then they could get rid of you, because it's kind of like,
It's probably the FBI agent in his phone is like, damn, this guy's still going.
That's
We're
what
gonna
I'm
have
saying.
to wait a little longer.
that's what I'm saying. So like, I think he might have found maybe that loophole,
A loophole, yeah.
that like just telling the truth, even if because it's so far fetched to other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the thing with me, Hollywood, all these things. You have this, like, yes, the human mind is a beautiful thing, and we could come up with UFOs and stuff like. But everything, why is there such a? Because he said it himself. He said if the day that they find out how this technology works that they came across, that everything that we see in sci-fi films becomes true.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, if you find how this engine that has its own gravitational push has that technology, is like, you'll see Millennium Falcons, you'll see all this crazy stuff. But at the same time, I feel like you'll hear people say that entertainment gives you, slowly feeds you the truth to this foresight. So it's like, I don't know. I'm to think that we're alone is stupid. I think first and foremost, even if it was like an organism that you see under a microscope, but it's from another planet, that's still telling you life is here outside of us. It doesn't have to be in your stereotypical alien form, but to think that we're alone, just stupid.
Bonkers. Yeah. So I posed a question a couple of days ago, just switching gears, about Chris Brown.
Okay.
And his releasing of 32 track albums.
Yes.
And whether it can be hurting him or helping him.
I have my business theory on it.
Mm-hmm. I put a poll up the other day, and 63% of the people said that it hurts him.
Okay.
And and this was like 20 something votes to like, I forget what the math was, to like 8 or 9 or something like that.
Okay.
So 63 to 37 or something like that. And I know you were playing devil's advocate the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bring that question up again because it's been how long now? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
4 weeks since the album came out?
Mm-hmm.
And have you really heard anything about any like classics on there?
I want to say that before I'm perceived to play devil's advocate, I want to say that, you know, I definitely played God's lawyer on this one because it's one of those situations where Chris Brown is the Michael Jackson of our time. Whether somebody, you know, he's an entertainer that dances, sings well. He influences a lot. To all the other R&B singers, you want to be Chris Brown on the fame side, okay? So when you release a 32-track album, especially in our day and age, you're doing something, one, because he has the fan base. Like, you're not going to be a new artist and put out a 32-track album. He is a very well-established artist. He has a fan base. He has very hardcore following. And when you do that, if you play the numbers game, especially with streaming, you can get a lot more money. And one, even if you're not listening to every track, you're having people start by going into the album. There is some type of hype or whatever surrounding it. And when your single is featuring Drake and it's a #1 hit, you already have that leverage. So, again, when it comes from a streaming numbers thing, or, you know, when people go back to the album, if they're playing it all the way through, you're doubling your time on streams.
Jesus.
The train. So that's the way I see it. I say that Chris Brown, he's getting some industry insight that even if he didn't want to put out a 32-track album, there's a rhyme or a reason why he's doing it. And again, I feel like people live in the shadows with this, where it's like, I've checked out all 32 tracks during an editing session, and there was a fluidity to it that didn't, even if it was background music, like there's college kids that, I love Chris Brown. You're ending up doing a paper for 2 hours and you're playing the whole thing. He got all your streams. So how can that hurt somebody?
I say because as a creative and as a fan of bodies of work, I don't think you can do a 32-track album and say that every piece in that album is a solid piece of work.
But this is also where I was listening into Gary Vee, and he said quality is what people, quality is a certain different standard now. It's what the people make of quality. You know, you can have a meme that is shot on an iPhone versus a DSLR camera, and it's considered quality because it gets so much popularity and hype around it. And this is one thing I personally disagree on, but it's how it works nowadays. So when you're talking about a body of work that it's in its excellence, like, you know, why is Lil Pump #1 versus like a J. Cole on the charts? What is quality to people nowadays? And like, what does that even matter? No, because again, we live in a capitalistic society. It's about the numbers. It's a dick measuring contest. Okay. How many tracks do I have? How many hot producers do I have on it? How many dope features? Like, am I #1? Like, if Rihanna comes out with a 32-track album as well, due to all her hype, versus I don't even know, some other like female act that's kind of in the same range, it's like.
But my argument is that if you have a condensed body of work, you would get more streams. You would get more people on the train as far as digesting your album, putting on the playlist. Because I listened to 4 tracks on the Chris Brown album. I remember there was 32 on there, and I was like, this is overwhelming. And I jumped back to the Bad Bunny and J Balvin album, which had, I think, 7 or 8 solid songs, which I still listen to this day. So you take one person, right? Let's say, how many fans do you think Chris Brown has?
So check this out, right? I went to Billboard 200. A lot
Hold
of
on.
people are gonna say
I don't want to talk about billboards.
number one.
I don't want to talk about billboards
Okay.
because of the number of songs that are on that album.
Yeah.
So you take, let's say, 1 million fans for the sake of mathematics.
Okay.
They play the album once. That's 32 million streams right there, right?
Mm-hmm. But he doubled on the numbers. So even if they're, because they know, I feel like they know from statistics. If you're a young person that has an attention span of whatever, maybe you're going through the album, a 5-track album, maybe 2 or 3 times at most until you're on to the new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Say you had 5 tracks, that's 15, right? That's 15 plays versus 32-track album. You already doubled those numbers with 1 play.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything, they secured their bag.
I understand all that money wise. I get it. But I'm saying quality wise, if he continues doing this, I don't think it's gonna last long.
I know, but at the same time,
So what I'm saying,
yeah,
for mathematic purposes, you take 1 million people.
Mhm.
That's 32 million streams.
yes,
That's off 1 play.
yes,
They like 1/3 of the songs.
mm-hmm.
So maybe 10 out of those 32. So they'll continue playing those 10 songs.
yes,
But if you have a solid piece of work, let's say a classic album, like
Yes.
you're passing on possibly having a classic album. If you condense those 64 songs
mm-hmm.
into 10 to 15 super solid pieces of work, you'll get those 1 million people to stream the album way more consistently, way more times.
That's another thing that I think I spoke to you about, is saying that you can't like, even though you had those 32-track pieces in your pocket under your belt, the times change too. It's like, yes, we lived in a trap era. It seems like for the past 10 years where everything has an 808 and a
Ain't going nowhere.
trap snare, but things change as well. Like, if Chris Brown held on to one of his older songs and tried to release it now, unfortunately it wouldn't work. So I feel like he has to regurgitate, putting it nicely, all these tracks out, because again, it's such a safe zone, even though it seems risky, or like, oh, I'm not going to listen to 32 tracks. But at the end of the day, even if somebody doesn't have time for 5-track albums, his management team, they know they played it safe. And again, it's so, the word quality is so vague now. There's such a blurred line with the word quality that, you could be a JID and you put out something solid, but like, who's gonna recognize that? Like, I hear people, say there's young kids that think Nas is whack. You know what I'm saying? And that, you can't.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So like, for me, if you're even, if you can stay afloat like Chris Brown, where you're even a topic of discussion, you're already winning. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, from a business standpoint, I can't be mad at them. That's the way I see it. I'm not gonna. Again, yeah, you might be right that I'm playing devil's advocate, but again, like, if I have to put the facts out from this era that we live in, he played it well.
Yeah. The general consensus in my DMs was that people didn't even get through 5 or 6 songs because there was so many on there. So
they'll go back if they care. If not, they got through 5 tracks, which is a short piece of work that somebody would put out anyway. So he got those in the pocket.
Exactly my point. So if you put a track, like an album that has 5 to 10 songs, not 5 because I think that's way too short, but like 10 songs, 10 solid songs, you would have those people listen to it all the way through, and possibly multiple times.
Hopefully.
So that's my thing on that.
Yeah, it could be overwhelming. I know.
I haven't listened to, out of those 64 tracks, I've listened to maybe like 10.
Yeah. I know I personally like short and sweet, even back in the day when when artists put out like a 20-track album.
Double-sided.
Yeah. It started becoming a little much, like when Jay-Z started doing double discs and stuff like that. You like your one CD.
Tupac used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
But
look at Tupac. He's still relevant because he has
such an impact.
You know what I'm saying? So I say, like,
Thinking maybe because, I don't know. I wish they were still around to see where they would be at in this climate.
Some of these artists are like stew, though. You know, you leave it in the fridge for a couple days. It's better than the first day that you...
Like lasagna, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be a lasagna artist.
So, did we do the gallery last time? I don't know if we did, but...
we did. I feel like, I don't know, it was one of us that...
I think you did the whole...
yeah, we...
Anyway, I do want to give a shout out to that bad boy right there.
This is going to be my new pair of glasses.
So One Eye Photography, Richard has been shooting for these guys over here. Yes. Temples and Bridges. I will be putting their name in this video so you guys can check them out.
These are the this is a collaboration between the gentleman on IG. His name is Success Addict.
Success Addict, yeah.
And Tito, which is owner of Temples and Bridges, and he creates these. If you guys read it in the corner here, it says Temples and Bridges. It's handmade. Mm-hmm. This is a USA product, and it says the Success Addicts on the other side. And I think this is a super dope frame. This is constructive of a high quality plastic, I believe, and it's kind of have like a matte finish. They have like a super dope fade, which I love, as you guys see within the glass. I think I'm going to change this to a brownish color because they have a brown pair. This is like green. They have one that has like a shinier gray. They have so many choices. So go to templeandbridges.com. I think it's TMPLS. And
I'll put it in the video.
Yeah, you put it in the video. But you guys go to the website, show support, really high quality glasses. This is better than some of the, I mean, I've seen Gucci made stuff. Like, this has weight to it, you know?
Yeah, man.
Like,
it's good quality stuff, man. And what I like about them is that they appreciate quality.
Yes.
In the sense that they've hired us several times to shoot promo stuff for them.
Yeah.
And
we're basically creating campaigns.
So it's really dope.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to shout them out real quick for appreciating us, appreciating them.
I also want to give a shout out to the young gentlemen that are running Montclair, which is in Montclair, and it's basically shout out to Ramel. He basically does interior designing for people, and they have a lot of like 60s and 70s aesthetics mixed with modern day. So you'll see like you know, they might have a 60s or 70s chair, and they might brand it with some Louis Vuitton. They have some Basquiat pieces, some Supreme pieces, just high-end quality furniture for your household if you're into those type of things. So definitely show them love. They are on Valley Road in Montclair, I believe 623 Valley Road, or no, well, this is maybe an old, this says 547, but I think it's 623 Valley Road. They might have switched their place, but
they're on Valley Road somewhere in Montclair.
On Valley Road.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, right? We don't got anything else? Anything else you wanted to touch on, clarify, or bring up before we skate?
I think that was it. You know, I like this podcast. It was a nice one. Episode 19 is. We touched up on a lot of good topics today.
Been hoarding these topics for a while, man.
Yeah, we got to speak on a lot of things. We'll see you guys back when we get back from our travels. We'll have some more stories for sure.
We'll have another one before we go.
Yeah.
Get a little quick one before we head out. But yeah, man. YouTube, remember to subscribe, like, comment, turn on that bell notification so you guys can see when we post. You get a notification when we post a video.
Yeah.
That way you're up to date. Apple Podcasts, if Apple Podcasts is your
so once again
technical difficulties once again. So where was I? YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, turn on that bell notification. We're laughing because I did this already and it didn't record into Pro Tools, but
it's okay. We always got the audio from the camera, so
yeah. So
basically, enjoy your summers.
Yeah,
enjoy yourself.
Resubscribe, follow on Spotify. I don't want to do this shit again. Whatever. Follow us. Tell people to follow us, please. We need to get out there. We're putting this out there for you guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed that and enjoy your weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll try to bang out one more episode before we head out, but if not, we'll see you guys when we get back.
And give life a second chance, because you always got to hit them with the intro, with the outro.
Bang one.
Can you hear it?